We've got a great episode fired up for you today. I'm joined by Andrew Vastardis, starting center and two-time team captain for University of Michigan and NFL prospect. Thank you very much for joining me, Andrew. Dude, it's a pleasure to have you on.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Of course, man. And like we were saying, pro day coming up all around. Like just how are you getting yourself ready for those scouts and just the draft in general?
I got a great support system, great training here at University of Michigan. So I've been fortunate enough to just stay here, work out with the same guys I've worked out with for so many years. Yeah, just staying at home, feeling comfortable, feeling good. It's been a lot of fun, actually.
Do you spend summers and like winters up in Michigan, or do you ever come back to Nova for breaks?
I've pretty much been up here the whole time. I got home a couple times, maybe once a year I get home, but it's busy up here. So
Nice. And like we said, just to recap the Super Bowl real quick, because I hadn't talked about it. LA Rams beat the Bengals, Super Bowl 56, score of 23-20. Overall, what did you think of the game? And did you have like a preference going into it on who you wanted to win?
Honestly, I had no preference. I've gotten to the point where I've played enough football to where there's guys I know on each team, so I try to just root for the guys in the team versus the team. But it was cool to see Matt Stafford pull it out after, I'm up here in Michigan. All the Detroit people love him. So it's cool to see him pull it out in the end, too.
Yeah, dude, I was watching with Dom. Shout out Dom Rubino, and he's like a massive Detroit Lions fan. So, yeah, dude, he was like living vicariously through Stafford. Like, that's basically the closest they'll get to a championship right there.
Yeah, for a while. But, yeah, I mean, guys loved it. And a lot of people up here were just rooting for the Rams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame them. It was definitely the best postseason I think I've ever seen.
No
in my
doubt.
opinion.
After the initial wild card weekend, from then on, it was just lights out.
Yeah, dude, so many 3-point games. I thought for sure that Burrow was going to drive them down the field. I mean, I don't know, like just going into that last drive, I was like, just based off that how the whole postseason's gone, like this game's going to overtime. Like I don't know why I was just like so hopeful and optimistic that would happen.
Oh yeah, I was banking on it, but like both Burrow and Stafford like getting banged up in the game and fighting through, like they're just tough dudes, great competitors. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was such a sick game. But yeah, now transitioning, let's throw it back to Stonebridge, if you don't mind. Shout out Stonebridge, shout out Coach Thompson. You played for them for 4 years. Ultimately, like how did Stonebridge get you prepared to take it to the next level and play Big Ten football?
Honestly, it's just kind of the mindset on going out and practicing every day, enjoying it, like knowing when it's time to work and when it's time to goof off. You got to flip a switch and get stuff done. And other times you can just enjoy the moment you're in. And I think the work ethic, kind of picking his brain about his college days way back when, and just playing with a lot of guys that love the game of football, especially at the college level. You have to love it. It gets hard. It gets tedious. It takes a lot. But I mean, I really never lost the love for the game, and just also had a good foundation in how to learn about the game. So really just growing that, and that helped me eons, like move forward, move ahead, because I'd started low and I was able to climb my way up just by that work ethic, that ability to learn, and just it's so exciting to like see all the work that we put in at Stonebridge, every class is put in since I feel the school open, since Coach Thompson's been there. Mm-hmm. And they're just getting it done now. It's fun to watch. I think I know I'm not big on social media, but I know other people like tweet about it. Everyone's like following it. That's been there. That's gone now. It's fun to watch. It's fun to talk about it with all the alumni, I guess.
No, I totally agree, dude. It's sick. Like the way they've gone about winning the last 2 championships, like final play of the game. It's just been great to see, and like no one deserves it more than Thompson and those guys at the school. But what was your commitment process like for Michigan? Like, did you have a couple offers lined up?
My mom's side of the family's from Michigan. Uncle played there way back in the 70s, early 80s, and really was kind of brought up to be a Michigan fan. And getting fast forward down the road, ended up being a football player, love football. And I had a few offers, like scholarships to play at schools in Virginia and near the East Coast. And really, was committed to ODU, loved it, like loved the people there, loved what they were building. And then just it came last minute to, walk on at Michigan. And like I said, I had the history there, and it would have been something I would have regretted if I never did. So
yeah.
That's how I ended up there.
Nice. And you ultimately got like put on scholarship your last 3 years. What was that like, did you kind of feel like they were going to offer you a scholarship those last 3 years, or like how did that go about? Like them approaching you with it?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go in as a walk-on, you're hoping like, hey, it's gonna come eventually. But once I kind of got in the mindset of just trying to improve myself as a football player and getting the scholarship not being like the primary goal, just trying to do whatever you can in any way to help the team. I think that just made it, I guess, it made it easier for me, and just it makes it easier for the team to see like your character, like if you're for the team, not for yourself. And that's one of the things I think made this last Michigan team so special is we had tons of guys like caring about the team. And I feel like I played so much football. I'm only just turned 24, but I feel like it's been like my whole life. So I feel like yeah, I mean, I completely got off track. Going back to the scholarship, it's just one of those things. Like, there's not cameras at Michigan when Coach Harbaugh gives a scholarship. It's just a team meeting, and I feel like I wouldn't want any other way. Just to celebrate with the guys that you put so much in with. And it's like after camp, everyone's exhausted, but also vamping up to get ready for the first game. So I mean, I think the way Coach Harbaugh does it is just the best. You know, it's just with your brothers, with your coaches, your mentors, and it's just it's a fun day. I know after I got put on scholarship, I think I was the guy to cheer the loudest for the next guy. It was it's
That's
always a
sick.
great experience.
Yeah, that's sick. So when you first got to Michigan, like, did you have any like welcome to Big Ten football moments? Like whether it was like in one of your first practices or like your first game days at the big house, like where you kind of just like looked around and like, damn, like I've made it this far.
Oh gosh, I think my first practice, not even in pads yet, I was holding the bag for offensive line drills, and one of our senior guards just kind of like came around. We were working like pulls and like kickouts, and he hit me, and I just like I don't know, I like sprained my ankle immediately. I just like fell right over. It's like like cursing, and I just got up, like kind of walked it off, and just kept going. But I mean, literally the first day. And I would say like the first like year, like because I was on scout team pretty much as soon as we started scout that year after we got over the initial drills.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think everyone in that line ended up going to the NFL on that D line. So just great talent, and it was one of those things where it was like a motivator. It's like I could just keep being a punching bag, or I can fight back. So, but I'd say that whole first year, especially running into the big house with the touching the banner, the
Mhm.
band going. I'd say that whole first year was just really soaked it all in, but also it was a good humility check.
Yeah.
Like nobody kind of sets you up like, okay, I'm here. That's where I want to be. You got a lot of work to do.
Yeah. So from your day, your college days, obviously you had a lot of great teammates, but like who would you say is like the hardest person you had to block, like your toughest opponent? Like, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson, like he's getting ready to go high in the drafts. Like I would assume he's up there, but just like even on your own team or people you played against, some of the toughest people.
Huh. Oh, for sure. He's on the edge and I'm in the middle. So sometimes we have those stuns where he loops around. It's
Yeah.
kind of just grab and hold on for dear life. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's up there, like tons of guys. I know Mo Hurst, he's on the 49ers now. He was always quickest get off, one of the quickest get offs I ever went against. He was a mission guy. Yeah, tons of guys, just tons of guys. I know Chris Wormley, he was a stud. He I don't say he would take it light on me, but he could always like just throw whoever he wanted to out the bar, but he would always just like do his job without throwing you out the bar. And you knew he
Yeah.
wasn't throwing you out the bar on purpose. I guess in season you have probably 3 days a week of physical practices, and then the other days are kind of just like fine tuning or installing. But yeah, I mean when we're going because kind of like I said in a couple interviews this past year, I felt like I went against the best defense in America, one of the best defenses in America. So for many of the games, I felt game day Saturdays was a tick slower than practice at some points because we were just trying to make each other better all the time.
Nice. And so what are some like standout moments that you have like overall from your college career? Like I know that's like a very vague question, but like obviously like playing in big house, 100,000 plus people, like just like game day rituals, game day routines, like just big all around atmospheres. Like what are some things that like you really like cherish, like memory wise?
Oh shoot, I got to start with this past season, the beating Ohio State and winning the Big Ten championship. That
That was sick.
especially doing it at home in the snow, senior season, just it was tons of emotions like before, during, and after, and that's something I'll definitely remember for the rest of my life. And not only that, just like the guys I was with were guys that kind of were in the same boat as me, like hadn't done it in forever, knew what it meant to everyone, not just on the team, like related to Michigan, like past players that I had played with for 4 or 5 years because I was a rare sixth year. Just kind of just doing it for all those guys that had just been through it and never gotten it done. And uh, I just the whole camaraderie of it. I've been a big big fan of football and the aspects of just the relationships that come from it. And like I said, a lot of the guys that I came in with have they're long gone. I still have those great relationships. I catch up with those guys weekly. But even like staying those 2 extra years, I made relationships with the guys that I might not have like as a senior with a sophomore or freshman. So I think going forward, those are like even more friendships, even more bonds that I'll have for the rest of my life. So I think talk about college football, just sports in general, just it's a great way to meet people and meet like-minded people that have the same work ethic in all facets of their lives.
Yeah, and that locker room environment is like so sick. I mean, obviously it's been years and I've never played like college football, but like just even Stonebridge, like just hanging out with the guys, like just building those relationships, the chemistry. Like sometimes like for me, like that was like some of the best moments was like the outside of practice, like just locker room talk, like just stuff like that. Like I don't know. I think it was definitely a good time.
Yeah, for sure. That's why I just said sports in general. I feel like no matter what level you're at or what sport you're in, like team sports or I guess individual sports, if you're working with other people or your coaches, just the bonds you make through grinding it out and kind of just being in it together. It's nothing better. And then like you said, not even just in the sport, but outside of it, you take care of it outside.
Mm-hmm. Was it like a relatively easy decision for you to stay those last 2 years at Michigan, or like did you like really want to like take it to the NFL or like start to prepare for the NFL, or how was that for you?
Well, I guess right now you can say it was easy because we had kind of did stuff that hadn't been done in a while. It was such a fun year. But I mean, in the moments, there was a lot of uncertainty, whether it was about, my ability to play or just world affairs. Like everything was so hectic. But I think it was a little bit of with everything being so hectic, I knew that I love Michigan football and I love the guys around me. And I think in that aspect, it made it easier to make the decision like to stay and keep playing because it's what's comfortable, it's what I love doing, it's who I love being around. So I think those last 2 years, I mean, you take the fifth year and that in itself, you're like, okay, like this is awesome. This is a great chance to keep playing football. And then lo and behold, you get like a COVID year, you get that extra year. And it was definitely at that point coming off a disappointing season. It was like, that can't be how we're going to leave it. We
Mhm.
had to come back and do better. So, yeah, I mean, I'd say the 6th year for sure was an easier decision than the 5th year.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame you, dude. I played college football as much as I possibly could. I
Uh,
mean, it's sick. But now this is kind of like a random question because like obviously Michigan has like one of the best college football programs like in history. But what are like 2 or 3 stadiums or arenas that you played at that that you thought was awesome for you?
oh, shoot. Apart from Michigan,
Yeah, obviously.
uh, I'll tell you what, Nebraska this past year at night, that was one of the loudest stadiums I've ever been at. That was such a fun atmosphere. And they had their whole fourth quarter, turn the lights out, play Thunderstruck. They got flames going off everywhere. That was nuts. That was a great
Yeah, that's
atmosphere.
sick.
And I don't interact with the fans, but everyone was telling me like the fans were awesome. Like they're nice, but they were like into the game. I mean, we heard the yelling. It was crazy. I couldn't even hear myself think half the time, let alone hear the snap count. What else? I mean, you got to say Penn State's up there because that place is that's historically nuts. I
Yeah.
mean, Happy Valley, especially at night.
Was it a whiteout when you played there?
Uh, the f- a couple of years ago when we played there, it was a whiteout at night. I'm not sure if they did one this year. It was a noon game, so it wasn't like those night
Wasn't like
ones.
the prime time. Yeah.
Yeah, but those two, I would say, those two have been the craziest atmospheres
Nice.
outside of the big house.
After your football career, like hopefully everything goes well in the NFL, but how do you want to use the education that you got at Michigan like with the rest of your life?
Hopefully I get into medicine. I know I want to go to med school. I want to get a degree in medicine and just kind of when I'm in med school figure out what I want to do with it. But I know I think or I should say I know that in the future I want to be a doctor because I feel like that's my best avenue to help people in life. And always had a love for science since Stonebridge AP biology.
Classic.
Yeah, she got me going.
Is that Miss
in
Bell?
Or no, it was Miss K. She was my AP bio teacher. I think
Okay.
Miss Bell. I had her earlier,
Yeah,
but
she was like Earth Science, actually, now that I say that, I think.
I think I had her earlier. But yeah, for sure. Definitely want to be a doctor one day. I'm working in the hospital right now at Michigan Medicine, doing research. It's giving me great experience. I'm meeting tons of great people in medicine. I'm learning so much, and you know, I have the great opportunity right now to kind of do both things what I want to do in my life, football and medicine. So just having fun in the moment, training, and learning more about what I can do in the future.
Nice. Was it relatively like easy for you to balance like school and football? Because I mean, playing at like one of the best programs in the country, like I could see like how that could be difficult to balance. But do you think it was like pretty easy to schedule your time accordingly?
I think it was like trial by fire because once you start, you just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So once you figure it out, though, I feel like I said, the lessons I learned in high school, even in from my folks, carried over pretty fast. Okay, you didn't even have time to think. You just did what you thought like was the right thing to do, and the training worked, I guess. And yeah, scheduling, time management, all that. You get the hang of it pretty fast. And yeah, the only thing that was hard was like early on. Like I didn't know I wanted to do medicine right away. I knew I had a inkling for science. I knew I liked science, but those first couple of years, like trying to figure out, okay, life after football is like their big, the not there. It's the big question when it comes to athletes or football players.
Mhm.
So those first couple of years, trying to figure that out along with just school and um, football, that was the stressful part. But once you kind of settled in and like kind of knew what I want to do in the future, just got into time management, and the more you do it, the better you got. So I feel like that's a kind of the culture shock for a lot of young people going to college, and then you kind of adjust to it.
Nice. And like yeah, you said you want to be a doctor, but like what exact like field would you like to get into, like preferably?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, you got orthopedics, which is what I've been around my whole life being an athlete, but also I love working with kids. So pediatrics has been a big look on my mind, and then surgery. Even before my girlfriend got me watching Grey's Anatomy, I've always been interested in that. And a lot of people I work with at Michigan Medicine are surgeons, and just their what they do is amazing, and the passion for their craft it's inspiring, and just learn from every day being around it. And it's definitely something I want to look into going forward. But kind of like I said, once I get there, I have a lot of options to learn about what I'm good
100%.
at, what I have an inkling for, and yeah, it's just something I'm excited about for the future.
That's cool, man. That you have like a completely like because some people struggle to find like one passion, and like you've been able to like figure out two passions of yours. So I don't know. It's awesome to see. This is a completely random question, but you rock number 68 at Stonebridge, 68 at Michigan. Is there any like reason behind those, like having that number for your whole career?
Honestly, I got to Stonebridge and I was the youngest guy on the JV varsity, and that was just the number that I was left with, and I just kept it going.
Nice. So, and then
So
you got to Michigan, you just saw it and you're like, yeah, like why not?
exactly. I mean, kind of the coaches were cool. They were like, "Hey, 68's available. I don't think anyone's gonna like try to change for it. So like it's yours when you get here." And then so I got it when I got to Michigan, and then I was able to keep it the whole time.
What's some advice that you could give to everyone watching or listening? And it could be like any facet of advice.
Oh, shoot. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And you're not taking up any
Awesome.
time. I love talking to people, especially people back from home. I don't get there enough as much as I wish I could. But yeah, I mean, any advice going forward? We've had a big kind of push, especially with NIL deal, and we're not even like doing this exclusively. It's just focusing on mental health for not just athletes or football players, just like all college students coming to Michigan. It's called Sack the Stigma. It's really just stop comparing yourselves to other people, because I sure know that I did when I got here in football wise. I was trying to be someone else when I just really needed to know how I can make myself better as an athlete, how I can be more confident in what I'm doing, and just have the most fun in a situation that wasn't always fun, but knowing that I'm a part of a bigger whole. And I think kind of going forward for life, just knowing that you always have things pulling you one way or another. We just need to do what you feel is your passion, is your calling, and just stick to it and do it to the best of your ability. and always be nice to those around you, because some people might not know what they want to do yet, and that's okay. It's okay not to know, as long as you just keep looking.
Nice, man. That's like powerful advice. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to like, find my passion. Like it might be podcasting. I mean, I think it definitely is, but I think like you said earlier in the show, like just trial and error. Like you don't know unless you like give something a fair shake.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, but like I said, man, thank you so much. Today I was joined by Andrew Vastardis, starting center and team captain for University of Michigan, NFL prospect, Nova native. Shout out Stonebridge. And man, thank you so much for your time, dude. It was an absolute honor to have you on.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Had a great time.
Of course, man. Anytime. And guys, scroll down below. Check out Andrew on Instagram at AndrewV68. And is there any other social medias that people can find you at?
Same thing on Twitter.
Same thing on Twitter. Perfect. And yeah, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today was Tuesday, February 15th, 2022, episode 75 of the Michael Maher Show. And I'll see everyone next week.